So, 10 masterpieces, but most players never finish them. Some worlds distract you, others demand patience. A few are just big or heavy. Therefore, here's your finisher score. Which game shocked you most, and which one did you abandon? 10. Skyrim, about 30%. Skyrim is one of the most played RPGs ever, but only about 30% finish the main quest. Because the game doesn't push you forward, it whispers, "Go anywhere." So we wander. Side quests, crafting loops, mods, radiant distractions. If you beeline the story, it isn't long, yet most of us never do. Therefore, nostalgia is high credits, not so much. Did you finish? Or did Whiterun steal your life? 9. Uncharted 4, about 23%. It's cinematic, polished, linear, so you'd expect a huge finish rate. But it sits near 23%. Because many bought it as a showcase title and never carved out the time. Story games need long, quiet sessions. Life interrupts, momentum dies. Therefore, one of PlayStation's most approachable adventures still lost most players before the finale. 8. Baldur's Gate 3, about 21%. A gigantic CRPG with dice, tactics, branching paths that punish indecision. Yet about 21% is actually high for something this dense. Because hype and word of mouth pulled true role players through. But the rest stalled. Too many choices. Long acts. I'll come back later. Therefore, BG3 feels like a feast most people sampled and never reached dessert. 7. GTA. San Andreas, about 20%. An icon, a childhood, a vibe, but only about 20% finished the story. Because San Andreas is an experience, not just a campaign. Gyms, gang wars, flying lessons, cheat chaos. So we lived there more than we progressed there. Therefore, nostalgia is not equal to credits. You remember the jetpack, but do you remember the ending? 6. Fallout. New Vegas, about 20%. One of the best RPGs ever. Reactive quests, meaningful factions, choices that actually matter. Yet completion hovers near 20%. Because it's older and janky. Mods fix things, crashes ruin nights. And the design encourages wandering and role-playing, not sprinting to the end. Therefore, New Vegas becomes your Mojave story, not the game's tidy conclusion. 5. GTA 4, about 18%. Liberty City is dense, grounded, bleak in the best way, but only about 18% finished the campaign. Because most GTA buyers want sandboxes, stunts, cops, chaos, not a somber immigrant tragedy. Therefore, the tone filters players out. Amazing narrative, low finishers. 4. Dishonored, about 17%. A stylish, immersive sim. Multiple paths, stealth, powers, so it should be irresistible. Yet only about 17% completed it. Because choice can paralyze, stealth can punish, and perfectionists restart until the fun evaporates. Therefore, a short game loses momentum when possibility becomes friction. 3. Red Dead Redemption. About 16%. Everyone praises the frontier, the atmosphere, that ending, but the original sits around 16%. Meanwhile, the sequel, longer, slower, bigger, reports a higher rate, because sequel hype and smoother systems pulled more players through. Therefore, RDR1's pacing quietly filtered people out. A masterpiece many started, but never truly finished. 2. Shadow of the Colossus for PS4, around 15%. Minimalist, majestic, meditative, and yet only 15% finished the remaster. Because there's no ChatterQuest dopamine, just silence, scale, sorrow, long rides, deliberate controls. Therefore, its art millions respect, but only a few endure to credits. 1. The Last of Us for PS3, around 10%. one of PlayStation's most famous stories, but roughly 10% finished it on PS3, because hype brought in players who don't love stealth survival. Tension, scarcity, anxiety makes them bounce. Even on easy, the tone is heavy. It asks you to sit with grief and push on. Therefore, a modern classic remains unfinished by the vast majority who tried it first. So, 10 masterpieces, but most players never finished them. Some worlds distract you, others demand patience. A few are just big or heavy. Which game shocked you most, and which one did you abandon?